Hello everybody and welcome to this video, my continuation on the AQA English Language Paper 2 Question 5. This is the 2017 onwards exam, and what I've been looking at is the mark scheme for the highest band in the section B for Paper 1 and Paper 2, and I'm breaking down what do you need to do to get the highest marks, and then what does that look like in relation to the specifics of this question. So Paper 2 Question 5, as you know, presents you with a polemic statement, a statement of strong opinion on which you are then asked to give a response. And in some ways, this is a piece of persuasive or argumentative writing. You've always got to sort of present a viewpoint in this question. And the bit of the mark scheme that I want to have a look at today is a really important part, the highest band. It talks about being convincing and compelling. Now, in previous videos, I looked at how to be convincing and compelling in Paper 1, Question 5, which was the narrative or descriptive question. And that was a very different skill set to the convincing and compelling in Paper 2, Question 5. So let me go through it with you. As always, everything I go through in this video comes from Mr. Bruff's Guide to GCSE English Language, £3.99 at mrbruff.com or amazon.co.uk. Not only is it over 100 pages in length, it also contains exclusive video links to hidden videos that you can only see through buying the ebook. And if you like my videos, guys, please do pick up a copy. It helps me continue making videos every day. So let's start off with this word convincing. So we know that to be convincing is to persuade by argument or evidence. In other words, if you need to write a piece that is arguing a certain side of an argument, you actually need to think, what do I need to include in this piece to genuinely convince the reader that my opinion is right? And I'm always reminded of a past exam question which I marked as an examiner, which was write a letter to your parents in which you persuade them to let you go on holiday with a friend this summer. Okay, write a letter to your parents in which you persuade them to let you go on holiday with a friend this summer. And that was a really interesting one, because one of the ways to be convincing is to think really carefully about who is your audience. In that case, it was your parents. And then to second guess, to anticipate their likely response against the argument that you're going to make. So in that case, it would be, we don't want to let you go on holiday with your friend because it's not safe, because you're not mature enough, because you're likely to do things that we don't approve of, like get drunk and that kind of thing. So to convince the parents in that case is to second guess anticipate their response and to argue against it and to address those concerns in the letter, to say, look, I know you might think that I'm not mature enough, however. I know you think I'm going to be getting drunk, however, to sort of counter-argue. And that was a convincing argument. So a convincing argument is one which really thinks carefully about who is the audience, what are their likely responses going to be to the points that you want to make, and how can you second guess and anticipate those responses and counter-argue them before they even take place. Now, the reason I bring up this example of write a letter to your parents in which you persuade them to let you go on holiday with a friend is because there was one answer. So I, as an examiner, marked hundreds of papers, and there was one answer which was hilarious in the fact that it was completely not convincing. Most students wrote something along the lines of, please let me go on holiday with my friend because I need a break after the exams and the stress of it, and I just need to be able to relax. That was okay. It wasn't very convincing. The convincing students actually anticipated their likely concerns of the parents and counter-argued them. I know you might say it's not safe, however, my friend's parents are coming and they're going to instill a strict curfew. And that was convincing. But the one answer that I read that really hammered the point home was somebody who wrote something along the lines of, dear mum and dad, please let me go on holiday with my friend. We're going to Ibiza. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to get wasted every night. I'm going to dance in the clubs all night, and I'm going to, pull lots of girls. It's going to be phenomenal. And that was the genuine gist of their letter. And of course, that wasn't convincing. And there's a difference between what you might do in reality and what you're going to present in a letter to be convincing. So the big tip for being convincing in any kind of persuasive or argumentative piece is to anticipate the response that you expect your reader to have and to argue against it. And to be careful to think, not what are all the ideas I have in my head about this topic, but to think which ones are actually most convincing. Because this is literally what happens. For the highest band, the examiner will be thinking, am I persuaded? Do I now side with you? And, I think a lot of students don't realize that it is actually, that serious, that you are genuinely trying to convince your reader of your viewpoint. So that's convincing. In tomorrow's video, we'll have a look at compelling.